Well, hey everyone, Squiddy Fishing here, and today we are back at one of my favourite freshwater lakes. We've got a bit of rain here in the morning and hopefully it's going to ease into the afternoon, and let's get into it.
We began our session casting over a favourite area. Conditions were looking pretty favourable with no wind, which is perfect for drifting the kayak along. After a short period of fishing, I decided to head off to an area I call Never Fail Corner. Before making a cast, I was planning on waiting for the rain to ease so we'd get a clean shot. And Never Fail Corner had lived up to its name.
But he's got two behind him.
If you look very closely when we play this clip back, you'll see my perch coming in first, and then just to the right of him is the second, and just above these two, you'll see the mouth and the faint stripes of the third fish. Having landed one of three, I was keen to get the hook out quickly as I could see the other two fish waiting to the right of the boat.
I think they will bite too.
With perch usually staying in the area, I decided to get a quick hold up of this one before making a cast.
Well, there's our first one of the day. Probably about 35 centimetres. Great to be back on the board with a lovely perch, and we'll let him go, I think. Right, I think it's time he gets going, which he is. He's going under the boat. He will probably pop out the other side.
With a big front of rain arriving and also a rainbow, I made another cast.
Yeah. Always one in this corner. Big fish too. He's just holding it in his mouth. He followed it all the way out from the bank. You see the perch don't fight that hard. That is a big fat one though, look at him. Give you a bit of a scrap at the boat. See if we can plop him in, there you go. We'll just pop him up for a quick look before we get the hook out. That's a very nice way to start. And take a look at that thing. That is a very solid perch. Probably just under a kilo, maybe 800 or so grams. Check out the fins on him, the stripes, the top fins. It's just a beautiful fish. I love catching them so much. So we'll get a pick with him, and we'll probably do a water release as well.
With the rain putting droplets on the lens, I decided to wait this one out as well before heading around the corner and casting into the middle pond that the rain revealed.
I've just swapped my lure over to a perch imitation. It's been pretty successful in the past. Let's keep fishing, see what we can find. Finally had a hit. Just come up into this corner and the wind's dropped away. As soon as I put it in there, first cast, it was an immediate hit. We've slowed the retrieve right down. If I've hit one there, I'm half expecting to find another one maybe in this corner. There we go. Ah, really?
Despite the painful hook pull, I continued casting into the corner, hoping that I would get another chance. And around 100 casts later,
big one. Near those poles. We're getting towed by a perch. Just in the top of the mouth. Giving us a good scrap. He's towing the whole boat and me. Lovely fish. We've worked out a bit of a pattern now. That is a beautiful big one. Lovely. We will not complain with that. Close to a kilo probably.
And just a few casts later, we managed to get into another one.
Got another big front coming. Hopefully that's the last one of the day. So we're gonna jump up on a few of these flats around here and see what we can find.
I began prospecting the area by casting in towards every likely looking bank, hoping that a perch might come out and smash my lure. After countless more casts, I rounded the corner onto a nice bank. And on my first cast into the shore,
Little one. They're not that little actually. Just moving along this little edge here, and he let it go on the first bite, but I gave him a good whack on the second time he grabbed it. Come on, don't lose you. It's right in there this time. Hey. So again, that one's right in the middle of the mouth, so that first touch was obviously not enough to stick him. Second time, good. It's another fat, lovely fish. A little bit smaller than the last one. Still amazing colours. Look at those fins at the bottom. They'll show up really good in this light. So I think what we'll do is we'll nose in here for lunch and then fish the rest of this edge.
I eased my way along the bank, looking for more perch as I went. The water had begun to clean up, so it would be a bit easier to spot them if there was one cruising.
That's a big one. This is providing this ledge. Oh, he's dropped it. Why? I hit him so hard too.
Sometimes the hook doesn't place well in the big soft mouth of the perch. And on this occasion, I think we were just a bit unlucky.
These fish aren't easiest to hook. Well, they are easy to hook, but keep them on there is a different story sometimes. So it's pretty stacked in here. That was a much better fish than that one I just landed.
With another shower passing by, a bit of blue sky broke out, and I continued making casts into every little gap I thought there might be a perch hiding. And a little further down that line, we found a wonderful big fish that was a little beat up, but he was a great one all the same. We watched him slowly swim off back into the gloom and continued our hunt for more redfin perch.
We're going to fish our way along this bank. As today the perch have been in different areas to what I was expecting. They've all come from little banks and corners. It's completely dead still. The next front is a little way away yet. This is quite a nice little zone here, little corner. Yeah, it hit. I'm finding all the fish I'm getting are pretty much on that faster retrieve, which surprises me a little. The fish won't be able to see it with this really dirty water, so it's all up to the lateral line to pick up the lure.
Just around the corner and I'd found this wonderful edge with the willow trees and also a nice bank.
That's a weird bite. I need to get it into him. Picked it up and kept going. Didn't even see the bite on the rod. He just grabbed it and kept swimming. There we go. Oh, that's quite solid. Wow. Okay, well that's probably pretty close to the best one of the day. Lovely, lovely fish, and very welcome after a couple lost. Just swapped over to a different lure, pink bait junkie. That did the business. It's about average for here, maybe a little bit bigger than average. Do a water release because it's nice and clean in this area. Just came back round to do that. And hopefully we might be able to find a couple more fish along the eastern shoreline as well.
It seems like this side of the lake is much cleaner and shallower, but that doesn't mean the perch aren't going to be here. With my soft bait now swapped over to imitate worms, I cast and cast and cast trying to find a fish.
That's how it's done. I forgot that on the camera. That was a bite. Right up in that corner, and he's probably the biggest of the day. He's going to shake his head. We're going to put him in. There you go. He was in maybe knee deep, less than knee deep water. He was close to ankle deep in there. And he just flew out and grabbed it right on the surface, right in front of me. It's definitely, yeah, I had him anyway. It wasn't going to come out. There you go, there's one on that. He's not as in good nick, but he's almost as long as the biggest one of the day. I think he is the longest of the day. Jeez. He's pretty green because I brought him in so fast. There you go, get your fins up for me, bud. There you go, he doesn't want to. Well, that is a spectacular one for this little zone here. Love catching these fish. And this time it was on this sort of banana-y coloured curly tail. So that was great. He just flew out of that corner. Okay, we'll get a few photos, then we'll do another water release.
With the sun finally breaking through, spotting fish would become much easier. With a bloodworm coloured curly tail on, I was casting into every nook and cranny trying to find that last fish.
Oh, wow. There was one in there. Saw him eat it and everything. Oh, he's a big boy too. Well, that's a better fish. Well, I should be throwing it into those really tight areas. This is a big fish. Big and good condition, I'd say. Yeah, look at him. Big, beautiful. Yeah. They just don't bite during the morning, I think. That's fat and big. Beautiful. And he was in like a foot of water. I almost didn't cast in there. That's the biggest one of the day by a country mile. Yeah, he's got some weight there. That's a solid fish. Put your fins up for me, bud. There you go. Now that is a proper one. Got the length and he's got the weight through the middle. And he even took some line. And when they do that, especially when he's towing me in the boat, wow, that is the biggest fish I've caught out of this lake for a while. And it's the afternoon doing the business again. He probably took that for an earthworm. He actually almost took it off the surface. Okay, take a look at this thing. It's got weight and length, and it's almost towards PB territory. It's a big fish for this lake, probably just on pushing that 40 centimeter mark and thick through the middle. So we'll get a few pics and we'll do a water release as well for this one. Absolutely stoked with that. That has made my month. Okay, let's go and do a water release. We're right in close to where he was sitting. Okay, let's go have a look at what he was sitting on. So we put the cast in here behind this bush with a little bit of whatever that is, and he was sat in probably ankle deep water in here and came out and cracked it just next to it right there. Probably landed on his head. So that really, I put a cast over there as well and he didn't see it then. That's a horse.
We rounded out the day with 100 more casts and managed to pick up a couple more beautiful perch.
Okay, so we're coming to the end of the day now. Heading back towards the ramp. I'm going to do one last cast in my favourite little corner. See if we can't pick up a final one before we head in.
Unfortunately, Never Fail Corner would not provide this time. We headed back to shore, very stoked with how many perch we'd landed, easily breaking my kayak record for the species. I hope you all enjoyed this awesome perch adventure, and I'll see you next time for more kayak fishing adventures.